Hey everybody. So before we get started, I wanted to take a minute to let you know that this is going to be the final episode of Why It's Awesome here on the channel. And that's because this show is getting replaced by a new show, which I'm going to be starting in a couple of months. I realize that that might seem like a big deal to a lot of you folks, and I'm definitely going to be doing a video explaining exactly what's going on with this change in more detail before the first episode of the new show is released. But for now, I just wanted to let everyone know that any of the games that would have gotten Why It's Awesome episodes had this series continued will just be included as episodes of the new show moving forward. So you guys really won't be missing out on anything, and in fact, you'll actually probably be getting more videos from me as a result, and perhaps even more gaming-related videos, because the new show's format will likely make that a little easier for me to do. So, without any further ado, I present to you the final episode of Why It's Awesome. Hey everybody! For those of you who aren't familiar with this series, this is where I take a game that I'm currently playing and try to explain to you in 10 minutes or less why it's awesome. Today, we're taking a look at Hobo, Tough Life, which is a simulation that presents and allows players to explore many of the harsh realities of homelessness in the context of a variety of tried and true sandbox survival RPG mechanics. One thing I want to make clear right from the start is that this is a game which, for the most part, takes its subject matter very seriously, and that's a big part of what makes it awesome in my mind. It would have been extremely easy for its developer, Parent Creative, to either mishandle or outright botch the execution of the many heavy, delicate, and potentially disturbing components and themes inherent to the game's concept. And I really do appreciate the effort that's clearly been put into giving those elements the thoughtful and sincere treatment they deserve. Obviously, homelessness is a very complex and nuanced subject that tends to spark a lot of often legitimate debate. As such, I think it's unlikely that Hobo Tough Life could be held up as a universal, flawless, or incontrovertible take on the subject. However, I could absolutely see it serving as a genuinely useful tool in any such discussion, with a legitimate ability to inform and educate players regarding its subject matter and a significance beyond its artistic merits and entertainment value as a gameplay experience. Having said all that, the core gameplay of Hobo Tough Life will likely feel very familiar to players of first-person survival sandbox games and traditional old-school RPGs, where success in the game has more to do with careful and thoughtful planning and decision-making, more so than the deft execution of complex controller inputs. To be sure, there are some obvious, frequently occurring mechanics, such as timing and puzzle-based mini-games, that will immediately and repeatedly remind players that they are in fact playing a game and not simply engaging with an interactive narrative experience. But at its core, Hobo Tough Life consistently leans more toward its narrative and social commentary elements, with its gameplay generally serving as a means to that end. In my estimation, that was a great decision on the developer's part, ensuring that the overall focus is always on the parts of the experience that are the most compelling and interesting, even as the more repetitive, potentially tedious aspects reinforce the struggles they attempt to portray. There's definitely something to be said for the genuine rushes of relief and pride that can occur while playing this game, which are born from simple wins like keeping yourself warm, fed, clean, healthy, and dry under difficult, random, or even brutally unfair circumstances. Combine all this with the fact that Hobo Tough Life is an experience that can be shared with up to 3 friends in a cooperative context, and you have what in my mind adds up to a pretty special game, and one that I'd encourage anyone comfortable with acknowledging and exploring the grim realities it presents to try. Of course, those who've struggled with homelessness themselves, or who are particularly affected by portrayals of it, may find Hobo Tough Life a bit too real, and I can absolutely understand why someone might choose not to engage with a game like this for a variety of reasons. But personally, I love the fact that this game exists, and I've been particularly impressed with the levels of care, thought, and depth that have no doubt been put into it. At the end of the day, the tough life presented in this game may not be awesome, but in my mind, the game itself certainly is. With all that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Hopefully you folks have enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you'd like to see more videos from me in the future, be sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you next time.
자,